Chris, and I'm just going to take these and bundle them. I've got two that I want to bundle. One is this: they want to know about reducing hours and layoffs. Do you need to provide a notice letter or a period? The other one that tied to that, two more. As an employer, we have had no choice but to lay off 7 of 18 employees to date, which is kind of a common situation, I think, for a lot of us. We are only able to service the exterior suites in buildings these days, huge cut in revenue. The remaining employees who are on payroll, we're trying our best to keep them as busy as possible to maintain their regular pay. We do show a loss of 15% through the second half of March, and we'll be on pace to meet the 30% loss each month moving forward. Um, and Although there are 7 layoffs, do we still qualify, they ask, for the new CEWS with the remaining 11? And also, do we need to bring back the other 7? And or can we give the other 7 who remain on layoff or furlough, can we give them the subsidy?
Thanks, Mike. So let me start with the first question. So I think before you even consider reducing hours and doing layoffs, you want to take a full, close look at the CEWS program and see if you can make that work for you before you make any significant decisions with your workforce. If it does come to reducing hours and doing layoffs, you have to start by looking at the employment agreement, the workplace policies, and any collective agreements that might apply. Is there something in there that gives you the right to reduce hours or to put people on a temporary layoff? In most situations, there won't be any such document. So the best way to protect yourself in that situation is obtain the employee's agreement and consent to make the change that you want to make. And, in the case of a layoff, you may be able to make it a little more favorable for the employee by keeping their benefits on, keeping their health benefits on during the layoff period, or registering for the EI sub program where you can top up the EI. Those are ways to create legal consideration to have an enforceable agreement to make those changes and have the employee consent to them. When you're doing this with your employees, it's important to try and have the mindset that we're working through this together, we're in this together, and we're just trying to get through this as best we can to try to bring the employees alongside and go with the changes that you need to make to help your business survive. So that deals with kind of reducing hours and layoffs in general. Going to the question, the second question, where there were 7 employees that had been laid off and 11 employees that had stayed on. So that's a great question, and the short answer is there's no obligation to bring your entire workforce back in order to be eligible for the CEWS. You can claim the subsidy for wages paid to the part of your workforce that continues to be on your payroll, even though others may still be on layoff. So if those 11 employees remain on layoff, you can still qualify for the CEWS for those 7 employees that you've managed to keep working. But in this situation, you might want to consider, can you put those 7 employees back on your payroll, maybe even at a reduced wage? And if that reduced wage is 25% less than the pre-crisis wage, you can actually claim back 100% of the reduced wage that you pay to those employees. So it's really more of a flow through from the federal government through you to those employees, and that may benefit them more than simply staying on layoff and staying on EI. And I think that's one of the primary policy objectives of this program, is to re-engage employees with the employer, even if there's no work to be done. Just getting them back on payroll it helps re-engage them, and as Mike said, hit the ground running once this thing is over.